Now to the West Bank, where crisis talks to salvage the unity government between Fatah and Hamas are just starting. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has raised the prospect that the government could be dissolved. Let's find out if that is indeed the case. Cross over to Nisreen and Shamayleh. She's joining us from Ramallah, where the talks are taking place. Nisreen, do we expect the government to resign?
Well, right now, this all started on Tuesday night at the Fatah Revolutionary Council meeting when President Mahmoud Abbas was quoted as saying that the consensus government would be dissolved in the next 24 hours and a new government would be formed. What is not clear yet is whether this is going to be a cabinet reshuffle carried out by Prime Minister Ramallah or if it's going to be a cabinet reformation with a new candidate appointed as Prime Minister and tasked with forming a new government. So right now, we understand there's a meeting between Abbas and Hamdallah to discuss these two options and other issues. Now, as you know, this consensus government was formed last year in June. It's a government made of technocrats that belong to neither Fatah or Hamas, but are backed by both parties. And it was tasked with organizing a general election so that eventually a Palestinian national unity government would be elected by the Palestinian people. But a year has passed and this hasn't happened.
So is this the reason then all of this is taking place right now? Why is it all happening now?
Well, as you know, there have always been divisions and differences and disputes between Fatah and Hamas. And after they formed the consensus government last year, these divisions didn't actually go away. Some people say these divisions have grown even deeper and have become more problematic. A lot of people criticize this consensus government for not being effective, for not being able to do its work, for arguing over major issues like how to reconstruct the Gaza Strip after Israel's 50-day war against Hamas last summer, with people like Abbas being quoted as saying that Hamas is not allowing this consensus government to work in Gaza. There have been other major disagreements over how to unite the different Palestinian security agencies. So there are deepening issues between the two sides. And we've already heard from Hamas this morning, a spokesperson saying that Hamas will reject any unilateral dissolution of the Palestinian consensus government without holding discussions and talks with all parties. Now, this also comes as a sensitive time, especially if the decision is going to be a complete cabinet reformation. Palestinians are preparing next week to file 2 official complaints against Israel at the International Criminal Court. Looking divided ahead of this move is not going to be helpful. And as well, this is all happening while we know from reports that there are indirect talks happening between Hamas and Israeli officials about possibly achieving a 5-year ceasefire agreement. These talks, according to the reports that we are reading, might even grant Gaza a floating seaport, which has been a long-standing demand by Hamas. And we understand that the Palestinian Authority is not part of these talks that are happening, these indirect talks between the Israelis and Hamas.
Okay, Nisreen, thank you for that update. Nisreen Shamayleh reporting from Ramallah.